So the first lot is, if I am honest, to be honest and honestly. Meaning to introduce an honest or blunt opinion. For example, if I'm being honest, I didn't really enjoy that movie. To be honest with you, I'm not sure about this decision. Honestly, I think you should apply for that job. See how super common it is in natural speech. Now the second one is, I appreciate that, or that's kind of you. Meaning to express gratitude for something someone said or did. Now, examples are, I appreciate that you're trying to help, or that's really kind of you to offer. Now, this shows politeness and warmth. Now, the third one is sort of, or kind of, or rather. Meaning to indicate something is somewhat true, not completely. Now, for example, I am sort of tired, but I can keep going. The movie was kind of interesting. That's rather complicated, don't you think? Now, this softens statements. Now, the next one is fair point, meaning to acknowledge that someone has made a valid argument. For example, I hadn't thought of it that way. Fair point. You're right, that's a fair point. Now this shows you are open-minded. Next one is I hear you, or I feel you. Meaning to show empathy and understanding. Now, for example, you can use it as, I hear you, that situation sounds frustrating. Or, I feel you on that, I have been there too. Now, this shows emotional intelligence. Next one is, you make a good point. Meaning to recognize that someone has said something valuable. Now, for example, you can use it as, you make a good point about the timeline, or that's true, you make a good point. This is very respectful and thoughtful. Now the next one is, that's a good question, or a great question. Meaning to acknowledge a question that deserves consideration. Now, for example, that's a good question, let me think about it. Or, great question, I hadn't considered that angle. This shows respect for the questioner. These phrases help you flow smoothly from one topic to another, just like native speakers do. So the first one is, on that note, or speaking of which, meaning to shift to a related topic. For example, on that note, have you considered trying yoga? Or, speaking of which, did you hear what happened to Sarah? See, that sounds so natural. Next one is, let me circle back on that, or let's come back to that. Meaning to return to a previous topic. For example, that's an important point. Let me circle back on that after we discuss this. And let's come back to that topic when we have more time. This is very professional and conversational. Next is, in any case, or at any rate. Meaning, regardless of what I just said, moving to next point. For example, he might be late, but in any case, we should start. Or, it wasn't ideal, but at any rate, we learned something. This is a bit more sophisticated than anyway. Our next one is the thing is, meaning to explain something or give context. For example, you can use it as, the thing is, I have been really busy with work. And the thing is, she not usually likes that. This is very commonly used. Next one is to make a long story short or long story short, meaning to summarize a long explanation quickly. For example, to make a long story short, we didn't get the deal. Or, long story short, I ended up moving back home. This is perfect for abbreviated stories. Now the next one is, what I mean is, or what I'm trying to say is. Now, meaning to clarify or rephrase what you just said. For example, what I mean is we need more data before deciding. Or, what I'm trying to say is I think you should reconsider. Or, this shows thoughtfulness. Now, next one is that being said. Having said that, it means to introduce a different perspective or contradiction. For example, it's expensive, but that being said, it's worth the investment. He is difficult to work with. Having said that, he's very talented. This is great for sophisticated transitions. I couldn't agree more. Or, I couldn't agree more with that. Meaning to completely agree with someone. Some examples are, life is too short to worry about little things. I couldn't agree more. That's an excellent point. I couldn't agree more. Now this is a strong agreement. Next is, I see where you are coming from. I get what you are saying. Meaning to understand someone's perspective even if you don't fully agree. For example, I see where you are coming from, but I think you are wrong. I get what you are saying, but let me offer another perspective. This is when you are respectfully disagreeing with someone. Next is, I take your point, meaning to accept or acknowledge someone's argument. For example, I take your point about the budget. I take your point, but I still think it's worth trying. Now this is formal but conversational. Next is, you have got a point, or that's a fair point, meaning to acknowledge someone made a valuable and valid argument. For example, you have got a point, or that's a fair point, I hadn't thought about it. This is a very casual agreement. Next one is, I beg to differ, or I have to disagree, meaning to politely disagree with someone. Now, for example, I beg to differ, I think that's not true. Or, I have to disagree with you on this one. This is very polite disagreement. Now, next is, I could be wrong, but, meaning to express doubt about something while offering an opinion. For example, I could be wrong, but I think this will be better. Or, I could be wrong about this, but it seems odd to me. This shows humility. Next is, in my opinion, or in my view, or if you ask me, meaning to share your personal opinion. Now, some examples are, in my opinion, that's the best restaurant in town. Or, if you ask me, he's being unfair. This introduces your personal view. Now, next one is it depends, meaning the answer varies based on circumstances. For example, do you like that restaurant? And you can reply, well, it depends. It's good, but it's pricey. Now, next is someone goes, should we go now? You can reply, it depends on how much time you have. This is a flexible answer. Next is more or less or roughly, meaning approximately, not exactly. For example, it cost roughly $100. Or more or less, that's what I meant. This is great for approximations. Next is come to think of it, meaning to realize something after thinking about it. For example, come to think of it, I haven't seen her in ages. Or come to think of it, that might actually work. This is natural realization. For example, I wanted to go there, and as it happens, my friend suggested the same place. And as it turns out, the product was much better than expected. You have now learned over 100 advanced English phrases, expressions, and idioms that native speakers use every single day. Now it's your job to use them. Pick your favorites, practice them, speak them out loud, use them in sentences. Don't be perfect, be natural, be you. Thank you so much for watching the entire series. If this helped you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who wants to speak English like a native. I am Shaz, and I'll see you in the next topic. Bye bye.